Wherever you are this morning, I am saying good morning to you. It is 4 a.m. in Texas. It is 5 a.m. in Eastern United States. It is 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. That's most of you in the Caribbean islands. Good morning. This is THG News Today with Mervyn Hanley. It is Wednesday, and today is February the 21st. The news, of course, is brought to you with the kind compliments, sponsorship of Colin Sons on St. Martin. Let us hear from Colin Sons. And while we are watching this advert from Colin Sons, remember, if you have not done so already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be right back after this.
Colin Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Colin Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Cole Bay and on the Pontville. In Cole Bay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Pontville, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Colin Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Cole Bay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Colin Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you.
Well, we begin this morning with news out of Miami regarding the former Premier of the British Virgin Islands, the Honorable Andrew A. Foy. And while the ex-premier remains locked up in Miami after being convicted of cocaine smuggling, a federal judge still cannot figure out how to resolve doubts raised by a couple of jurors about their guilty verdicts nearly 2 weeks ago. Now, this is historic. A judge, she doesn't know what to do. And now she's depending on the prosecuting side and the defense team for Andrew Foy to come up with a solution to bring it to her. So U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams said late Tuesday that she wants both sides, federal prosecutors and defense attorneys who are at loggerheads, to return to her courtroom on March 7th with a potential legal solution to the seemingly intractable problem. Listen to this from the judge. She said, "From the start, this has been an unusual case in many respects," Williams said at the end of a court hearing. "Unprecedented might be more like it." On February 8th, the 12-person jury found the ex-BVI Premier Andrew A. Foy guilty of conspiring to import cocaine through the British territory to the United States and the 3 related money laundering and racketeering charges. After the verdict, the judge polled each of the jurors, who confirmed that Foy, 53, was guilty of the 4 charges. Williams then discharged the jurors. But within minutes of being officially let go, 2 of the jurors, a man and a woman, contacted the judge to say they had apparent misgivings about their verdicts, setting the stage for an unusually rare post-trial dispute. Federal prosecutors said the judge should stick to the original verdicts, arguing there's no legal basis to bring the 2 jurors back into court to question them about their verdicts. The prosecutors pointed out there is no evidence of a verdict mistake, internal or external pressure on the jury, or racist attitudes toward the defendant. But the defense attorneys countered by saying despite constitutional limits on questioning a jury about deliberations, there's no reason why the 2 jurors with doubts about their verdicts cannot be polled again by the judge. They stressed that the cocaine trafficking conviction carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years up to life in prison. And so the judge, expressing frustration over the finding a legal basis to resolve this verdict problem, called their discussions meaningful. But she pressed on both sides to continue examining past cases in South Florida around the United States to help her reach a just solution. So it's like a teacher in class. The judge is sending the defense and the prosecutors on a homework assignment. That's what I call it. Because she herself, she's confused. She doesn't know what to do. And so she's seeking guidance from both prosecuting team and the defense. The defense attorney for Mr. Foy, Theresa Van Vliet, she said, hopefully our discussions will be fruitful. There is no lack of trying, she told the judge. Meanwhile, the judge cautioned both sides about having any contact with the 12 jurors who served at Foy's trial. And you see, just the mere fact that the judge cannot even make up her mind suggests to me that the judge should just say, you know what, this is a mistrial. Nothing is wrong in just speaking to those 2 jurors. You hear what the jurors have to say. They're saying that they do not agree with the verdict. Okay, then call it a mistrial. Or send Andrew Foy back to the BVI. So now he remains locked up until March 7th. So we now have to wait, 2.5 weeks to hear what's the outcome of this. And I think this is very unfair at this point in time to the former premier. Let's move now to news from Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Browne, said regional shareholder governments in the now defunct LIAT 1974 Limited have agreed to sell at least 3 planes to LIAT 2020, enabling the inter-regional airline's debut, according to CMC. Browne called the measure significant because it would help the new airline, launched in conjunction with Air Peace, a 2013 Nigerian private airline, transition smoothly. He estimated the new airline would launch in 60 to 90 days. Great stuff. This is great news. I know some of you always curse in LIAT, but I'm very happy for this because right now we have a set of airlines. They're just springing up out of nowhere and they're saying, oh, we're on this route. Let's go to this route. We're going to that route. All over the place with no kind of real stability, right? Say what you want about LIAT. It's going to come. I don't know what time, but it will come and it will take you to your destination safely. So Prime Minister Gaston Browne said this LIAT will be launched in 60 to 90 days. So we're looking at April. Within the last couple of days, all heads of shareholding nations have approved the sale of the planes or aircraft to Antigua and Barbuda. And I suppose the administrator, Cleveland Seaforth, is seeking a court hearing to ratify the arrangement. The Caribbean Development Bank agreed. We're now a little closer to acquiring those aircraft, he said, adding that we would be paying a total of $12.1 million to acquire the aircraft. And we will have to spend, I believe, at least another $8 million to get them fully operational. Late last year, Browne said his administration had expressed its willingness to spend $15 to $20 million in the new enterprise. He added Antigua and Barbuda opposed LIAT 1974 Limited's collapse after Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines opted to do so due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Browne has denied that his administration will negotiate 100% severance payments to former LIAT staff. We won't talk to them if they want 100%. And if you know the Prime Minister, or if you have been following Prime Minister Gaston Browne, you know that he means what he says. He is not paying 100% severance payment to the former LIAT staff. He went on to say, we cannot take 100% free payment. This is a gratuity, this is sympathy or other payment, not a severance. Our percentage is at 32%. If the unions want to talk about the 32% compassionate payment, we will, Browne added. I have also indicated in the past that this offer will not remain indefinitely. So this is good news on one hand that LIAT is coming back, LIAT 2020. However, as far as the former staff, that's above my pay grade, they'll handle that. But we've heard from the Prime Minister Browne and his stance on that matter. And finally, in our news this morning, there has been, the crime situation in St. Lucia it's escalating, and it's a pretty sad situation there. And now you have almost every day something. Every night is something, or on the weekend, and there's a shootout or hit and run, and just St. Lucia. Come on. The former Tourism Minister Dominic Fedee has raised questions regarding the connection between crime in St. Lucia and the drug cartels in Colombia and Venezuela. His remarks follow the recent arrests and deportations of individuals who had entered St. Lucia illegally, including Venezuela and Colombian nationals. The police just recently reported that they arrested some Colombians and some Venezuelans in the south of the island, the former Minister of Tourism told an opposition UWP round-the-table discussion. When you have got situations such as these happening, you've got to ask yourself, what is the connection between the crime situation in St. Lucia and the perpetrators of crime and the drug cartels in Colombia and Venezuela? The UWP's second deputy political leader asked. He declared that crime threatens the fabric of society and people are anxious for their safety. However, Fedee accused government of being appallingly weak in managing crime. At the time the former minister spoke last week, St. Lucia had recorded 13 homicides in 2024, but the fatal shooting of a 21-year-old man in George Fifth Park on Saturday night pushed the homicide toll to 14. I'm not sure if anything has happened since Saturday. I'm just reading this statement. Fedee lamented that the crime was creeping into schools. Young children are now beating up teachers and chopping each other. Wow, St. Lucia. I don't know what's going on in this world, I don't know what's going on. And not only the world, because remember these things used to happen just in the United States and those places, And now it's like everybody gone wild. Children in the Caribbean, young people. I don't know if it's the vaccine. I don't know what it is, but everybody just gone. Some folks are just wild and behaving foolish and resorting to anything toxic and crime related. What is it? What is happening to us as a society? And then there is absolutely no respect for one another. I mean, the moments you agree to disagree or you disagree respectfully and you move on, not anymore. There's always some sort of retaliation. You want to fight or you want to bring down that person by doing all kind of shady stuff. People are just cold-hearted. People are just angry for the simplest of things. You can't even say good afternoon anymore to some people, otherwise they snap at you. And that's the news for today. You heard what's happening with Foy there in the BVI, well, in Miami. He's still locked in a cell and hoping that this will be resolved. You heard that LIAT will be back within 60 to 90 days. So by April, LIAT will be back. I know many of you, including a friend of mine there on Nevis by the name of Sam. Sam will call me up, man, when is LIAT coming back? Boy, we want back LIAT. Well, Sam, you got your wish. You can thank Prime Minister Gaston Browne of Antigua Barbuda for that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our news. Thanks to Colin Sons on St. Martin. Good morning to the fine folks here at Colin Sons. And I'll be right back with you, God's willing, on Thursday morning at the same time for a similar presentation. God bless all of you.